So this patient has a fourth metacarpal fracture and a hamate fracture, and he's got significant edema, ecchymosis about the palm, the wrist. So rather than putting him in a cast or even a splint from OT, we're gonna do a non-removable fiberglass ulnar gutter splint. I'm gonna get ready, opening my ACE wrap, getting some tape ready on the side here. So I'm ready to go. Anytime we're gonna have fingers in the splint, we need to have padding between the fingers. So for this one, we're gonna include long, ring, and small fingers. So I'm gonna put padding in between those fingers. So I'm just taking a 4x4, putting that between the fingers here. Fluffing it up maybe a little bit. All right, and since the injury is in the metacarpal and we need to immobilize one joint above and one joint below, the splint will go past the MP joints, but it'll allow for PIP motion. So that's one thing to remember, splint a joint above and a joint below, and then because this is a fourth metacarpal fracture, we're gonna include one digit next to that to support the fracture as well. Now for the stockinette. If you don't have stockinette, that's okay, stockinette is optional. I found some great ways to cut stockinette for an ulnar gutter splint. So we're gonna cut one hole for the thumb and one hole for index finger. So we've got 2 holes. Stockinette's gonna go over long, ring, and small. Then the index finger's going through that first hole, we'll turn a little bit, and thumb goes through the second hole. So we get something like this. And then I tell the patients it's not gonna be this long when there's a fracture in the hand. We don't have to go all the way up the forearm. We're gonna go maybe halfway. So this will get folded up and this will get folded down. All right. Then the other stockinettes are cut to help hold the padding in place. So this is a 2-inch stockinette. I'm gonna put on the excluded fingers, we call them, the fingers that won't be in the splint, and also for the thumb. So I've just cut slits on both sides. That's gonna slide over the thumb. Now for the padding. I start with one layer of padding around bony prominences like the ulnar styloid. Then I work my way up to the first web space, and we'll cover all these spaces as we come back down. Then I'm gonna go around those long ring and small fingers, tearing through the web space. I'll have you turn just slightly for me. There we go. Now I'm not gonna take my padding all the way up because I want his PIP joints to be able to move. So this is one layer around. Now we've got 2 layers around at the level of the fingers. I'm gonna do one more layer because this is gonna be an edge. So we've got 3 layers there. Now we're going through the palm, tearing through that first web space, go down and around the thumb, and now go down proximally, overlapping by 50%. So he's got about 2 to 3 layers throughout the splint here. We don't need more than that. Otherwise the splint won't fit snug enough. So now we're overlapping by 50%. I'm gonna go about halfway down the forearm, and that's where I end, and I go around and around to create 3 layers there and tear it off. Since my splint will be on this side, I don't need to add a cuff for the thumb like we do for other splints. Before I get my splint out, I'm gonna get my tape ready so that once it's all set up, I'm ready to go. I'm gonna put my good scissors back in my pocket and get out a crappy scissors so that I don't get my good scissors all gunked up. For the fiberglass one-step splints, they come in different sizes. This is a 3x12. Some people get really focused on making a complete gutter going from front, I should say volar, all the way to dorsal. We don't have to. We just want to support all of the fingers. So rather than having an ulnar gutter be just on the side and not immobilize that middle finger, we're going to support all 3 fingers volarly, and then we're going to wrap it ulnar. It does not have to completely enclose the fingers. We don't do that in hand surgery. We don't do it after procedures. We make sure that the fingers are fully supported rather than halfway supported. So with the fiberglass splint, we have that fiberglass layer on the inside. Make sure that this edge is good. Now I'm gonna cut where I want this to end. So we're gonna go just inside the padding to just inside the padding. I'm also feeling for those PIP joints. So I'm gonna cut right there. This is a key step. We've got to make sure that that padding is over the edge of the fiberglass. Otherwise that is sharp like glass and can hurt the patient. All right, so we've got that nice and covered. I'm gonna get this wet and then we will do the burrito trick. I got this soaking wet. You can kind of see here. I'm gonna lay this down in a towel and fold the towel over it and wring out the water. I usually lay it on the countertop. I'm just showing you. Wring out the water. And now it's hardly damp. Option 2, open this up, get just the fiberglass wet and then put it back in, but then you have to get gloves on, and I try to work without gloves. So that's how I avoid that. So already we're gonna get this splint right where we want it, supporting long ring and small fingers to the PIP joints. We've gone past the wrist. We don't have to go all the way up the forearm. We're gonna use this stockinette to help hold the splint in place. Fold up here. Anytime we have a web space, we can go ahead and cut on both sides. The job of this stockinette, and I tell the patient too, the job of this stockinette is just to help hold that padding in, so then we don't have padding coming out of this thing. And same with the thumb, making a cut in that web space. And I tell the patient too, if this starts to come out, just shove it back in. Don't pull it out. Okay. So now I'm going to make sure his wrist is nice and neutral. I'll say fingers towards the ceiling for me. You got it. There we go. Thumb towards your shoulder. Now I get my ace wrap ready. I'm going to make a cut. I'm going to get my good scissors back out here. This cut is going to go in the first web space. So that's where that goes. Now we're going to go up around the fingers here. I'm making a cut for this second web space. Going around the fingers. Now I'm going to go back down around the hand. I'm pulling with about 50% tension. It might be getting warm in there. That fiberglass lets off some heat as it sets up. All right, I've got my tape ready. Okay, and then I'll add a little bit more tape in between the fingers here. It's kind of tape art, right? We just are helping all those edges to stay down. I'm also just slight pressure. I'm not forcing him down into intrinsic plus position. I've got him just in a position of comfort. Molding it in the palm, making sure his wrist is nice and neutral and it's not ulnar or radially deviated. Not flexed or extended. So this is an ulnar gutter fiberglass splint for a 4th metacarpal fracture, which includes long ring and small fingers. All right, option 2, overwrap this with Coban, which is something I actually commonly do. The idea being that shirts going on and off, clothes, jackets will pull on the tape, and then it starts to fall apart. So, and this gives the patient a little bit of control too, to take Coban and overwrap the splint without any tension in it. So pinching the Coban will go between web spaces here, and then explaining to the patient, I'm not putting any tension in this, but if you feel that between now and the next time you come back, this is getting loose, you can unwrap this and rewrap it tighter. Or if you feel like it's a little too tight, and you can unwrap this and wrap it looser. But it also helps hold all the tape and ace bandage in place. Getting that to stick together at the end, explaining to the patient that's how they can take it off, is right at this end where I stuck it together. And that's an ulnar gutter splint.